Hello to all my friends across the Earthship. I welcome you to my Alchemy podcast series where we have a continued discussion each Sunday morning about sacred and spiritual alchemy. I have in past recordings that are posted on YouTube where I introduce this idea of you being the alchemist of your own life. So it would be of allowing awareness consciously through conscious alignment with stable thoughts and stable presence and a stable body. It's really just about being comfortable on an earth. I'm Cindy Carter. I am a intuitive. I'm a energy healer and also a holographic healing teacher. A modality of healing that is quite powerful in grounding the energy fields of the humans. I offer these as remote healings, and you can see those on my website. As you look down the page, you can see my new website that I'll be talking about later in this podcast. I'm excited about it. But really right now we're here to talk about the current Earth report because it is one of volatility. It's electronic explosions in and around the Earth. Our cosmic rays, our sun influence, our cellular miasms, our genetic histories are all being unearthed right now. We are in what I'm calling the transparent times. Transparency. There are so many deceptions in so little time. Even though time is a construct, I still feel the urgency. It's being played out now, the urgency, like there's just a little bit of time. Yet there is a pull from me to see it from a higher aspect, to understand that dark light or matter coming into the resonance of light or harmony will get shaken up. It's just science. It's like we are having a collective shaking out. It's our bodies, our minds, our souls are getting shaken just like a snow globe. And it's just through the energy of people's thoughts and ideas, cosmic rays. This is what happens when higher vibrating energy comes in contact with lower vibrating energy. There's a fluctuation. There's explosions. There are uncommon blasts and bursts, intrusions of energy. Yes, there is a collective cure for all this. A cure for the shaken earth syndrome. Bring love to your day. That would be a simple truth, a simple collective cure. Bring love to the day around you. Bring love to the people around you. Bring love and life to the earth around you. And I'm talking about all of it. The wholeness of it, not any one faction. You can't just love one thing. When love emits from your body, it's not selective. It just goes. This is where transparency on an earth will be the equalizer of all things. It's like the earth has become transparent. All the earth's aura is now exposed for us to see what's going on and has been going on for eons, and we were left out of the script. And the script has now been shown to us. It's to equal the playing field. So how will you react during this time? I hope you don't have reactions too much, but if you do, it's okay. We hope that you have responses instead from a stable field. See, this transparency of all the atrocities and the darkness on earth, it's really all proper and right on time. But you've got to understand something, that you can't get caught in the fray of this. You've got to stop your mind and your emotions from allowing you to get caught in the fray. Do not get lost in the details of these atrocities. The ugliness that you see is not you. Like, is that compassionate to feel the ugliness? Is it compassionate to see the ugliness in a way that you feel it in your core, that you feel ugly? No. Because at the core of you is beauty in all things and beauty of life. You have always been this. No matter what feelings you might have as a fleeting moment, or even as underlying feeling you've had forever, is not the beauty of you. You can change into the beauty of you. Doesn't mean you're denying the ugliness. It means that you're accepting the ugliness in a way that is through the heart space. Observing the great idea of compassion for yourself. As you observe the people that are not being compassionate to themselves. You don't want to feel at the core of you the feelings of others. You want to feel the feelings of your core. This is the alchemy I've been talking about in all the future and former podcasts that I've been dealing with here. I'm trying to get a basic understanding out about you being able to change the environment you're in. Through grace, through alchemy, through love and peace and joy. These aren't just hippie, freaky, awesome, loving things to think about. It's not the bliss trip. Believe me, I'm not a bliss pusher. I'll tell you your darkness, and I'll tell you to love your darkness. We have to love the being that's having the darkness. So let's love the beings that are having the darkness on the earth. So observing is a great idea. What if you had to do nothing but observe for all this to shake out? Transparency is this new frequency we're working with here on Earth as we move into a new proximity into heavy cosmic rays. It's where light and frequencies are going to pummel the Earth and our cellular and emotional and mental bodies of all the Earth inhabitants. No one is exclusive here. That's why we see people's core beauties being shown. We also see their miasms being shown, their traumas, their ugliness. We are now being poised with all the deceptions and secrets coming into light. It'll happen with or without our energy, our thoughts, our emotional upsets adding to the miasm that creates around the Earth's field. We don't need to add to the Earth's field of miasm, trauma, death. We don't have to have attachments to the outcomes if we trust the universe to write ourselves into beauty. So finding a compassionate and comfortable route through this transparency would be the best. Because the light is squeezing it out of all of us. So then I ask, how clear is the vessel you're riding around in? Do you still have things you have shoved aside to deal with later or never? Your darkest fears and conflicts are being unearthed for all of us to witness. So it's best to deal with them when you can feel them and write them into something more glorious for yourself. Can we not be compassionate for the earth brother or earth sister that's having a difficult time of it? Could we still love them through their trauma, through their anger? It's a stretch for many to love those that are being shaken apart. But if you access your beauty, if you access your higher wisdom, and you access what your heart would ask, your heart would possibly ask you to love these beings. Whatever is being pushed down inside the mind or the emotions or inside your body will want out right now. It'll want out to the light. Are you ready to be the bearer of that or the witness of that? So I ask if we could introduce love into your day. But first, I want you to know I'm not a love and lighter. I'm not a bliss pusher. I'm an alchemist. There's a difference. I'm firstly going to ask you to really look deep at your stuff and what you have hidden away. It's not necessary to relive the pains and traumas of these things, but through a compassionate field, you can alter how these things affect your life and affect those around you and the energy that ripples from you, which is so necessarily volatile at this time. Could we bring that back to peace? Because you are the alchemist. You have the ability and always have. But these things have been kept from you. This ability has been hidden. So why don't you consider the environment you live in and ask yourself, is it happy? Is it kind? Is it mutually beneficial? And then ask, is it safe? These are part of the compassionate questions to ask yourself. And if you get a no for these things, how can you have that change for you? How can you be so bold to get out of the constructs of the matrix, out of the constructs of your mind, and change these things? For the soul vehicle that wants to progress here, not the mind vehicle that wants to stay in their nice home with their nice things just because it's there. It's easier that way. Well, this love energy could be brought forth as you nurture your soul. Or have you been finding yourself living in untruth? Perhaps you had an agreement several years ago that no longer feels right to you. Well, this is your metal to work. This is your clay as an alchemist. It's not your truth. Your truth is the love and peace and harmony and joy and freedom that's inside of you. You just have to expose those. There's nothing to work there. But when you add love to your day consciously, yes, loving yourself even when you're pissed off, even when you think unkind thoughts. Love the one having the unkind thoughts, because you are deserving of the highest love available on this earth, because there is nothing to attain. There's nothing to be gained before this love is allowed, because at the core, as an alchemist, this is a core element, because you are divine. You are not a sinner. You're not broken. There are no monitors needed, no guards at your gates. Because you are love, and you are peace, even when you are not peaceful. You see, you are not your ego or your persona. You're the core of the light and frequency of the geometry of the stars, now in a body on an earth. So if you are to witness the darkness and it's unsettling to you, then maybe instead of moving further into the darkness, getting more pissed off, more agitated, maybe it's time to add positive encouragement in the form of energy. So here we go. We might be treading into some territory here that's not where you sufferers want to go. A lot of you enjoy suffering. So let us go to alchemy and expose the love to dissipate the darkness and bring into our life harmony. It could be joyful. Be careful. It could be peaceful. Be careful. It might be a time to add the energy of love to this day, right now. When you consciously add love to your day, anything can happen. I only speak from experience. I could share a story about how my heart wanted to close. I was in a phase where my heart wanted to close from things that people were doing on the outside of my heart. It wanted to close so tight, and it wanted to create a wall around it to protect me. But I rerouted my thoughts and my feelings that day, and I added the idea of love and consciously allowing my heart to stay open, even when it wanted to close. So I told myself that day, my heart will not close. I will be open to all displays of love to and from me this day. That's a hard choice to make sometimes. But I did it. I made the conscious choice to work with this energy of love and allow it from me and to me. Well, that day, it became pretty magical. Like this happy, homeless guy in dreadlocks came up to my door and knocked on my window of my car and asked for a ride in the pouring rain. He spoke in a tone of love, and he told me of all the rainbows and sunsets that he showed me on his phone. He just filled the car with love. He even told me I was beautiful and thanked me for trusting him. He said not many people trusted him the way he looked with his dreadlocks. But I saw his heart. I saw his soul, his aura. I see that in everyone first anyway. But I was alone, and the program society wants to make you feel unsafe in that. But I trusted him. You might share a time with an angel and not even know it. Or I'll share the time on Valentine's Day when I was alone, and the program society wants to make this an awkward day for you, you know? The ads and the people and your friends around you displaying to you what this program is about. The lack of love. The lack of a Valentine. The lack of being wanted. Well, I never felt alone, even when I'm alone, for one thing. So this was a day I wanted my heart to stay open again. So again, I made the conscious choice that morning over my tea, that's when I usually set my intentions anyway. On my outing to the market that day, I had driven by an antique store on the side of the road, and it was like a shack, really. But I really wanted to see the treasures inside there. I was intrigued by this place. But it was never open. Just never. Over a year I'd lived in the country out there, and it was never open. But this day, on the day I chose my heart to be open, it was open. Valentine's Day. So I had to slam on my brakes and pull my car over because I saw an open sign. And I was greeted by this cute man that said, "Just make yourself at home here in my place." Very loving. I rummaged through some dusty books and some trinkets, and I found this thing hidden in the back. And I pulled it out, and it was a wooden red heart that jumped at me with its vibration. I was like, wow, I have to have this, I think, on the day that I'm working with hearts. I found a heart. I took it out from under the dusty books, and I took it to him, and I said, "How much for this cute heart?" He said, "Oh, you have my heart." I said, "I do?" He said, "Yeah, well, it's my wife's heart that I carved for her like 40 years ago." And I said, "Oh my God, then it's priceless." He said, "Yeah, but things are things, and $5 will do just fine. My wife has my heart, so it's all good." So I walked out of there knowing I had aligned with my thought. I had aligned with my attention, that I was doing conscious alchemy that had played itself out in the 3D for me to enjoy, for me to witness, and mainly for me to trust. Like, if I align with my core aspects, I can trust the universe. That was my lesson. So this is not a bliss trip. I'm not trying to bring you into the bliss trip. And I have dozens of these stories of consciously altering the alchemy, and you can too. So in your day when you're being bombarded by the transparency, know that you're always with your core, always with your core elements. So don't forget that you are love, that you are peace, joy, understanding, and pure awareness. So in these transparent times, consciously work with your alchemy, work with your emotions and your thoughts as you witness the deceptions and manipulations of governments, of societies, of worlds. This is conscious alchemy to write your vessel into harmony. So opening your heart to love is not a bliss trip. When you are viewing deception, it will bring you to a sense of peace as you become the observer, not an absorber of the manipulation. There are ways to consciously move through these transparent times. Perhaps silence and trust in the universe and bringing the witness to your life is your next idea. Loving yourself so you can be okay with all the stuff you see in the transparency. If you are being challenged by life's events, feel free to contact me. I can help you make sense of the nonsense. I can assist you to become grounded and process your issues with compassion and understanding. I am available for emergencies. I have been dealing with those lately. Spiritual emergencies and psych-op emergencies. These are not the easiest times to be on an earth, but you signed up to be here. It's the least we can do is to step into the quantum fields of your own source. Because your own source is asking your many selves to step into harmony. During the most unharmonious time on earth. It's transparency, and it can equalize all discordant energy. You can choose to be calm. You can choose not to fight a war. You could choose to not separate yourself from any other heartbeat on an earth. It's not them versus us. That will be equalized in the fields of transparency. Grace is the ingredient of transparency. Allowance is the process by which you can alter your life to be non-confrontational, non-triggered, non-targeted. Alchemy is the power of vibration, frequency, and consciousness. Our realities will become what we intend. Be the universal, powerful creator of source energy in your life and the earth by aligning with your universal structure, by allowing your soul to become at peace. You could say to yourself when you get all riled up, when you get angry, when you get sad or get shameful, what would my heart say? Probably not what your emotions would say. Probably not what your mental mind would say. Heartfelt alchemy is what I present here. I'm excited to say that I've completed some big projects for me recently that were based in heartfelt alchemy. And I'll be unveiling those today. Today is the day I unveil my new website, so I hold high intentions for reaching people that need help and haven't found anyone. It's cindycarterhealing.com. where I have all my services available to you there. I also have something I'm pretty excited about is my free ebook. I wrote a book, put together a book. It's not writing a book. It's a compilation of channeled messages of information I got on Ascension from 2010 to 2018. It's a successive channeling of information about ascension and self-mastery. And one day, deep in the woods, I was given the name Solene, as a higher version of myself, like an accumulated voice, and I heard this voice very clearly. And I proceeded to channel messages of assimilation and quantum physics, high understandings of cellular proliferation, cellular science. These all came as coded messages in the form of poetry and flowing words. I didn't put it all together for quite a few years. But if you read these in order from 2010 to 2018, as I have compiled them in this book, you'll receive the same information that I received over those years about how to alter your life back to your source essence. These are codes of immortality, and they're not just poems. I didn't take poetry in college. You can download a free copy of my ebook at my website. And also another one of my favorite creations as of late is my new Template of Grace series. It's an 11-day activation of sacred science. It's got 11 recorded meditations that build upon each other to create an activation of grace. It's a systematic building of the idea and the essence of grace as it's introduced and allowed into the cellular body into the mind and the emotional bodies. So it may be to become thoughtful and to become more polite, to behave with grace is one aspect of the benefit of this series I've created. This audio series may also allow the universe to bestow your earthly walk with grace and opportunities of grace as you allow your soul to progress here on earth. This is based in many years of understanding of how the cellular body takes on information. It's based in sacred science. It's based in sacred alchemy, geometry. It took me a lot of years to put together how information is brought into the body, and I've put that into simple ability to take on information through 11 days of meditations, 10 minutes a day, with the final 11th day being a little longer than that, with singing bowls at the end of each meditation so that you can feel the essence of grace and feel the words of grace as they enter your mind and enter your emotional field. The series is $33, a downloadable feature that you can play as many times as you like. They're about 10 minutes long, not much time in your day to spend 11 days activating grace in your life. This template of grace has already been proven to be powerful, pretty quick way for people to bring peace into their volatile minds. I've gifted this series to friends of mine, and they're now starting to share their stories of how quickly they've come into graceful thoughts and graceful activities. And you can download this grace series on my website. So there are tools, if you like tools, if you like ways to consciously bring yourself into peace. If you're not in your natural state of peace, then consciously utilizing the energy around you to expose the core essence of your own life, which is grace, is achievable. So I welcome you to visit my site. I'm excited today to unveil it. Please download the channeled book called Solene, share it with your friends, and check out my grace series and see if it's something that you might or friend might like. I wish you all a very happy day in volatile times. Be the witness and be the idea of love. Activating it today during these transparent times, it'll assist you to stay out of the unnecessary energy depleting fray. I wish only peace upon your life and yourself. Many blessings to everyone.